few quick thoughts. Starting from your last point on transgender and reassignment, I was just wondering, because the issue of control features very much nowadays. I mean, it featured along in the Brexit campaign. I'm not going down that route. It featured a lot about in politics nowadays. I was wondering whether young people are trying to give a sense to themselves that at least this is an area where they can exercise some control over their lives, as opposed to their jobs in a globalized world, as opposed to relationships, as opposed to, because increasingly there is no concept of a constraint anymore, of a family, of a structure. So just a thought on the last.
Yes, I mean, I think I'm very concerned that the issue of identity, okay, has shrunk down, okay, to merely a gender, your position on a big scale of a ruler. There's a tiny little infinitesimal gradations of gender, and has shrunk to the body itself, okay, and management of the body, and that is a sad consequence. I believe that identity should be much broader. See, we're in this period of a particular kind of desiccated secularism. Now, as an atheist, I still am extremely interested in religions. I feel that world religion should be taught in, at the most fundamental level. Then we would understand much more about Islam and everything else right now. If people had been listening to me 25 years ago, right? And I feel that identity should, like in my generation, 1960s, the people who took drugs, when they were searching for themselves, they discovered the universe through drugs. Okay, there was a vision quest like that of the Native Americans. So there was a metaphysical dimension to their in a tremendous kind of cosmic distance, okay, to their self-identification. They were explorers of the universe, of ultimate reality beyond society. Today, this is sad to me. Okay, yeah. The idea that I am just the. How do you identify? Okay, I am. And there's like incredible range of things to choose from. Yeah, and that just shows you the failures of our educational system. Okay, which has tried to make everyone feel good and to have good feelings about themselves and no bullying, et cetera, instead of giving them hard knowledge about the past. Okay, and so yes, go ahead.
And this leads me very neatly on this very quick second point.
Quick, go on.
Quick. This sense of wanting everyone to cuddle everyone and well-being and protectionism. Yes. I wonder whether there is this new mentality of victim blaming. There was a recent judge case whereby even a minor was more or less blamed. I think people might know what I'm talking about, following a rape, because more or less she asked for it. I think it was a female judge actually who made that point in the UK. Some people this might ring bells to some people's thoughts. So I'm thinking, if there is this new culture of victim blaming, how does this reinforce this sense of agency and responsibility that your generation of feminists, you said, because you said,
okay, right, yeah. So, but apart from anything else, I think that it's the opposite, which is that there's not an era of victim blaming. There's an era of saying anyone who disagrees with you is a victim blamer, which is a whole different ball game.
Yes, that's true.
By the way, yeah. Right? I'm going to, because I want to take some more. Right? Yes.
Hi, I go to an American liberal arts college. Thank you so much for existing. You probably saved my life.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I found these uncanny similarities between the very right-wing kind of religious conservatism, or that view of women as needing protection and kind of extolling feminine virtues like vulnerability and all that, and the kind of very left-wing opposite of that. And it almost seems like they're coming full circle in the sense that now I've been told that reading a book would be too much for me to cope with because of a certain experience I've had in my life, right? Or like the thought that somehow just reading a poster of some sort, or like a man being in the classroom, would somehow unsettle me to the point where that man would need to leave the classroom to make that classroom safe for me to be in. Yeah. So how do you see the similarities?
Absolutely. I feel that human beings need religion. They need a religious perspective, a cosmic perspective. And getting rid of the orthodox religions, because they were too conservative, has simply led to the new religion of political correctness. All right? And so it's the same kind of fanaticism. I mean, I have found that second wave feminists, it's like the Spanish Inquisition. I'm not kidding. Okay, like anything with any form of dissent, even within feminism, is treated as heresy. Okay, and they actually try to destroy you. When I wrote my piece on date rape in 1991, there was clearly an organized campaign among feminist groups to get me fired from my university. They harassed the president of the university, and who thank heavens, I had tenure, but also he took the very enlightened view that faculty are free to express their views of other things. But if I were a younger faculty member, I wouldn't have dared to speak out. Okay, I would have been vulnerable in the promotion process and so on. So I do think that the independent thinkers have been driven out of academia. I mean, there are plenty of men who just gave up. Okay, I remember being. There's a young woman, Katie Royfey, for example, who's gone on to write various books and so on, who's the daughter of a novelist, a well-known novelist in the United States and so on. And she had told me, it was like 20 years ago now, I said, aren't you going on, okay, in graduate school? And she said, well, that was my dream, to become a professor. She said, but I don't dare. She said, because there's no place for me in academia. I wouldn't. And I said, but it's only through dissident young free thinkers, okay, who make their way, in the universities, who will change the universities. And now eventually she does teach now on a kind of ad hoc basis, I think, at NYU, which is a return to it. But every independent thinker, okay, every person who is a truly original thinker, who has been driven out of American academia, at least, over the decades. I've heard abundantly from letters I've been getting for 25 years. I mean, there was one letter I remember very, very clearly from a woman who said that she was now painting houses in Missouri, okay? And she said that she was in the comparative literature program at Berkeley, which is extremely PC and so on. And she said that every time in their seminar that she would express enthusiasm about the work under study, okay, people would look at her as if she had created some offense, okay, because of course the new style is that you take this deconstructionist view, debunking view of great literature and art. Therefore, you wade into something which is admired by others, and you, with your red pen, check off, racism, sexism, homophobia, and so on. Right? So this is what's happened. Is that the universities have increasingly become a place for the time servers, for the obedient, for the servile, right? And the true independent thinkers are gone. Okay? And therefore, this is what I say. Okay, is that every individual, male or female, must see life as something that you are personally responsible for. You are responsible for your own education. Okay, you cannot be dependent on teachers or people should be looking at college not as a place to receive. Most of the teachers are going to be conventional. Instead, it's an opportunity to read in the library. That's what I did. I went into the library, and I just my shrine was Yale's Sterling Library. I just went in there and I ransacked. Okay, so just floor after floor after floor, book after book after book, and I discovered all kinds of things, forgotten or suppressed voices. They're out there. Okay, illumination and enlightenment are there, available for every individual. It's a matter of personal responsibility. That's the essence of my feminism and of my approach to life.
Right. Okay, so
right.
A couple of things very important in that, and it is disconcerting, is that a lot of the witch hunts, and that's what they are, against people that call for people to lose their jobs and get sacked and so on, sadly, are led by people who call themselves feminists. I mean, that is, or progressives, because I'm aware of the fact that there will be people in this room who are thinking, the Institute of Ideas said this wouldn't be an echo chamber, and I'm leading a kind of cheering here. But I don't care in this instance. I think that's very important, so I think to bear that in mind. And then the second thing is, just on that point about reading the library, that kind of great books tradition, read, actually is completely unfashionable. And that is tragic. And I do think that that's what makes, because people have said to me about you'll be delighted to know, oh yeah, contrarian, and they say the same, it's like, oh, if you said black, you said white. The thing that is incredible is how erudite and widely read and cultured you are, which should be an inspiration, which just means that your dissident voice is not based on some sort of silly shock jock reaction, which is the way people try and characterize those of us, and I don't want to say that, but anyone who's a dissident, they try and shut up as being sort of a fool who just is a kind of attention seeker.
Right.
What saves you absolutely is that you have read that library.
Right. Now, in my new book, we produce a very extensive review I did for the Chronicle of Higher Education of 3 new books by women academics for university presses on the bondage and domination movement, all kinds of things, dominatrixes and so on. Right? And one of the points I made in this, that was about my horror,